Hi, my name is Tom Chapin, and welcome to Just Outdoors, ICTV. This is a program to bring you the bare facts about the woods, the waters, and wildlife of Itasca County. Well, today we're in Itasca County, and we're at a small buffalo farm. And the buffalo farm is owned by Dan Severson.
Yes,
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dan, we're going to learn all about buffalo.
Yes, we are.
All about buffalo, the value of buffalo, and we're actually going to be in the process of butchering one of your buffaloes.
Yes, we are.
And that's what the show is going to be about. And the fact there are buffalo in Itasca County, you are the owner of like 8 buffalo.
I do. I have 7 of them.
Okay,
Yep.
7 of them, and that's what the show is going to be about. Should be really interesting. This is a whole different kind of program. But here we are outdoors, beautiful day.
Very nice day. Very nice day. Yep.
We'll be talking.
Yep.
Just Outdoors is brought to you in part by
Jervalin Hardware Inc., Deer River. Jervalin Hardware offers a broad selection of paints and sporting goods and a complete line of plumbing and electrical supplies. Jervalin Hardware, 108 Main Avenue, Deer River. Dan, Mr. Severson.
Yes, sir.
We are standing in front of a pen
We are.
full of buffalo.
Yes, we are.
And these buffalo, I understand you have names for them and
I
all
do.
these kinds of things. But anyway, we're gonna learn a lot about buffalo. We went over this earlier, and boy, there is a lot to learn here, and the value of these animals, and the nutrition value. We're gonna get into that, and why people have. Why do you have these buffalo?
My dad got into it 35 years ago just for the heck of it, and it actually worked out really well. They're a very unique animal, and if you start off right, they work out very well. One of the things that you have to do is if you're going to buy buffalo, you got to buy them when they're little babies. 6-month-olds, usually they sell them, and then what you want to do is lock them up, corral them up, spend a lot of time with them, feed them, and then that will kind of get the wildness out of them.
But they are a wild animal, aren't they?
They're a very wild
They're
animal.
as wild as anything out in the woods here.
Yep.
They're pretty much untamable.
Exactly.
Right.
It's kind of funny because you can feed and water these and give them hay and give them grain, but the wild instinct, they will still go out in the field and paw on the grass, on the snow, and eat the grass underneath it. And you would think that after years and years of being domesticated, but you can't get it out of them. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and they're not native to this area.
No.
Just like deer, they're not native to this area. Deer weren't here 150 years ago.
Right.
And buffalo are in southwestern, southern Minnesota,
Exactly.
pretty much. But,
right.
But these are, do you have 2 different types of buffalo here?
I do.
got?
I have, there's the plains buffalo. Cheyenne will be a plains buffalo.
Now, Cheyenne, which one? Who is
She's number
got a name now.
118. She's standing right there.
Right here.
And
right there.
right, and that's her baby alongside of her. That little guy is only 6 months, 7 months old, and they are plains buffalo. They're a little taller. They're not quite as hairy. They're generally a little darker in color, but that would be the plains buffalo. Now Dakota is the one that's standing right behind her. And she is my favorite. She's very easygoing.
The one on the other side there?
On the other side,
Okay.
yeah. And she's a little shorter. She's got a little bit more hair on her front end, probably because I'm assuming it's a little colder in Canada than it is in the plains.
All
you
right,
know.
so that's the difference.
But there is 2 different kinds, right?
Okay.
And now they've kind of interbred them a little bit because well, they were almost extinct at one time.
Yeah, now you breed these animals, you
I
sell
do.
off the
Right.
young and so on. So you,
Right.
And boy, it's
Now this here is Montana, standing right behind you. She's kind of a curious little gal.
this one
Now
right
she's
here.
she will be 2 years old in June, the end of June. And she's actually a really nice gal, aren't you? You're my baby, aren't you? Yeah,
All
you're
right,
a
now
good girl.
all buffalo have horns. So.
They all have
Yeah, they're all
horns,
females.
right?
So-
A lot of your feedlots will take the horns off, and those horns are they're weapons. They're very deadly. That's how they, set their
Yeah.
what you call it in the wild.
No, let the public know. We're going to be letting these things out here,
We are.
and we're going to show that, and you're going to see how wild they are.
Yes, you are.
Pretty well.
Right. Yes.
And one of these animals we are going to turn into meat today.
We're going to take one down.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got 2 big bulls here, and the bulls are only 2.5 years old. They'll be 3. So this herd is very young, very young. A buffalo will live to be about 30, 35, maybe 40 years old.
Really?
Under the right conditions.
Oh my gosh,
Right.
I did not know that.
Yep. And they will actually breed until they're well into their 20s.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's quite an investment here, but you get the investment back, don't you?
You could, yes, yeah.
But I mean, it costs you hay and feed and so on.
Right.
What do you feed these again?
These guys get hay, big round bales of hay, all they can eat, and then I also give them 3 5-gallon pails of feed, which is half barley and half corn.
Okay.
Yep, and they need a lot more nutritious than what you would think. Sometimes people think, well, they're a wild animal, they can eat brush. So they can't.
No.
You get out to that prairie grass out west, that's pretty nice grass out there.
So you have these animals now. Are there federal or state regulations as far as vaccinations and things like that?
There is if you're going to take them out of state. If you're going to transfer them, if I was going to take them to Iowa or Dakotas or something, then I have to have them vet checked and stuff like this here to make sure that there's no, diseases that are carried.
So can you sell this meat in a local butcher shop?
Only if it's under a federal meat plant where it's slaughtered. Right. I can't slaughter that here and then sell it.
I see.
It has to go through
Of course, they're going to do that today with one, so that meat will have to be sold by you personally.
Well,
How does that work?
well, actually, legally, from my understanding, if I could sell that on the farm right now, as long as I sold it as halves or quarters or the whole thing, I could
I
butcher
see.
it and sell it. I could sell you a quarter of it as long as it's sold that way.
Okay.
I can't cut it up and then sell a steak out of it. Yeah.
No, that's what
But-
would be done today here, would be quartered,
Right.
correct?
Right.
And then you have plans in the future to take it to a place to get it cut into chops and roast and steaks
Right.
and so on.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And very
Yep.
good. So that's where the value, that's where the investment comes back then.
Well, a lot of guys, you can sell them as breeding stock. Most of your cows, your heifers, your females, a lot of those are sold as breeding stock. A 6-month-old heifer maybe bring anywhere from $1,700 to $2,200-$2,300.
Okay.
And a bred cow, you're looking at both of these cows out here, Cheyenne and Dakota, are both bred, and you're looking at right around 4,000, 4,500, maybe 5,000 tops for each animal.
Okay, now let's
Right.
talk about the meat itself and the percentage of meat that you would get off of an animal like this. Is it higher or lower than beef? You have a 1,000-pound animal. How much meat are you going to get off of that animal?
These guys here should weigh right around 1,000 pounds, and they should hanging weight should be right around about 550 pounds.
Okay.
Right.
And
And
hanging
then-
weight, that's what you sell. That's
Right,
pretty
that
much
would
done.
that would be
That
what you
turn
would
into
sell.
the
Right.
steaks and so on. So,
Right.
Okay.
And then out of that 550 pounds, you would cut it up into steaks and roasts.
Yeah.
You would you don't lose nearly as much off of a buffalo as you do off of a cow, because the buffalo bones are actually smaller.
Okay.
By far smaller than a beef. The animal is, a little pretty good size, but their bones are actually smaller. And they don't put on a lot of fat. The fat that they normally put on, even when you feed them, is going to be on the outside, on the bark of it. It's not going to be marbled in the middle. Yeah.
Now you read a lot about the nutritional value of buffalo
Right.
compared to beef. it's what I've heard is it's kind of, to some people, the alternative for eating beef.
It is.
Because of the lower cholesterol, I understand.
Right.
And higher protein.
Right.
Per pound or per ounce or whatever.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of elements in the buffalo that aren't as high, that are good for you, the vitamins and minerals and so on. So there's a lot of people that are switching to buffalo meat because of the nutritional value.
These bison, they're actually called bison. We've always called them buffalo.
They are bison.
But they are, yeah. And they've actually, 30 years ago or 35 years ago, when my dad first got into it, and I did, you could buy one of these little calves for $100, $125, $150 because people didn't know what to do with them. But now it's got to the point where people are health conscious. This is a wild animal. It's all natural. It's not. It's not been genetically altered.
That's what people like about it.
Exactly, and it is a little bit more expensive, but then it is good.
I think they call it like the North American buffalo or something. Like that. But a buffalo basically is like a Cape buffalo out of Africa.
Exactly.
So,
right.
Bison.
Right. Yeah. And another thing is, a couple years ago, they made these bison the national mammal, so it is recognized by the government.
Of the millions that have roamed through.
Exactly. If you stop just for a minute and realize what these animals have gone through, I mean, where they were at one time and what we brought them down to, and they've come back, and it's just a miracle, actually. I mean, there's a lot of history in one of those.
Well, knowing the nutritional value of the animal and the fact that you can raise them like this, like beef cattle.
Right.
It's just a whole different thing to a lot of folks that don't know this is going on, and that's why we're here.
It is, right.
And you're one of the very few in Itasca County, aren't you?
Yeah, there's not a lot. There's actually there's by far more in captivity than there is wild. But there's a lot of big herds out there. If you get down towards Sauk Center, there's some big outfits down there.
Itself,
but there's not very many around here. But
all right,
nobody's crazy enough like I
am. Well, I'll tell you, you've got a unique situation here, and that's why we're here. And
exactly.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some things involving the actually slaughtering of an animal here.
Exactly. Yep.
And you use the word slaughter, but that's what you do. That's how you turn an animal into a nutritious meat at the table.
Exactly. Yep.
And so you decided that today that one of your animals will be produced for meat.
It will be.
So
one will be turned into hamburger. Yep.
Okay.
Steaks and roasts and.
Okay.
So.
And we'll go to our next phase here.
Very good.
Very good. Well, Dan.
Yes, sir.
We plan on letting your whole herd out into the field here.
We do.
In order to pick the buffalo that we're gonna slaughter here, and so they're pretty predictable, their attitudes.
Pretty much, yep.
But there's always that little narrow box, right?
Yep. They're a wild animal, so.
Wild animal. So you and I will be standing here, and you're gonna let these buffalo out, and we'll watch them and see how they react, and I'll get some close-ups of them and see how they move, and then you're going to point out the one buffalo that we are going to dispatch here. So.
Okay. Ready? Come on. Come on. You guys want to go for a walk? All right. Okay. Come on. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hip. Come on, boys.
Get some close-ups there. They're wandering around. This is pretty deep snow. We just had a snowfall of about 6 inches here.
Come on, guys.
And Dan, you're feeding them here just to kind of keep them in an area, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Can't imagine what 10,000 of these would look like in a prairie setting.
I get. I've been out to the Black Hills a few times, and they've got I think they got about 2,000 head out there, and it is amazing. It's amazing just to watch them.
Yes.
But, yeah.
And of course,
Yeah.
They're such docile animals in a way that you can see why they were wiped out at one time. You know, you didn't have to
They're not, yeah,
chase
they're
them like a deer or anything
right.
like that.
They're not really afraid of a whole lot of anything. I mean, they're big enough, and you know, they're very family oriented to where the mamas really take care of the babies. And now that's Montana there. She's a year and a half old. I think that she's bred. This is one of the young boys, and he's only about 9 months old.
Now you got a couple more coming out here.
Here comes the other ones.
The other ones, okay.
This is going to be this is Cheyenne, and she's my bred cow. And that old boy there is the one that we're going to take down now. He's a 2.5-year-old. He'll be 3 years in June. He would have been. Yep.
That's is that the biggest animal you have here?
Well, the herd bull, he's actually the same age. He's coming around here now. He's the herd bull, but you can see that he's a fair amount bigger. And there again, now he is, he's only a 2.5-year-old. He's just a baby.
Boy,
you know.
That's a big animal. That's got to be, that's almost 6 feet.
Yeah.
There, isn't it?
They got a big hump on their back, and that's all cartilage. And I'm thinking that it's kind of to store water and stuff in the wild.
Or fat. Whatever fat they
Come on,
have.
guys. Hip. Hey. Well, boys, this is it. Here they go. They're going on their exercise. Come on up here. Look at that. It's actually kind of funny in the summertime when the ground is dry and they run like this, you can actually hear the thunder.
Oh,
you know.
imagine 1,000 of them.
I can't.
No.
I can't.
No.
And the thing is that, you know, they got so much strength in that front end that they could actually take one of these little vehicles and just tip them right over, you know. But come on, guys, get up here. Duh. And it's kind of neat when you listen to them. They snort like almost like a little pig. You know, that's the noise that they make.
Okay, so they do have some vocal capacity.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
I'm sure glad they're running in a circle. Because okay. Now,
Hip.
how do they know how to do that? Well, no, they went in there. Okay.
Whoop. Okay, boys, are you done now?
This guy's
No.
coming over here now. He's got
Hip,
one
hip,
behind. He's got one
hip.
behind you here.
Just look at the muscles that they
Oh,
got.
they're
Huh?
just incredible.
Unbelievable.
I can't imagine that. Oh, gosh.
Yep.
So when you get one in, will the other ones follow?
Come on, guys. Yeah, I hope.
Okay.
This is all a guessing game. I mean, what you think that they're going to do and what they do is two different things. But
Mine are their own, huh?
they should. They're used to that. They get fed in there, and
Sure.
so I'm going to. I'm going to let them run just another minute or two, and then I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to get them in there. So I think what I'm going to. I don't know if you want to stand here or not. Boy, they just got a lot of exercise.
I like that snow.
Yeah. These buffalo actually can outrun a horse in a small distance. You know, in like a half a mile or so, they can actually outrun a horse.
Dan, do you do this every day with them?
These guys, once or twice a day, when they're out here, will do that. And I'm thinking that it's just to warm them up and get their blood flowing.
Okay.
And the bull is, the big bull is usually the one that starts it. He'll start horning them in the hind end, and then he'll get them all running, and they'll run around for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Their tongue will start hanging out, and then they'll
They got their exercise.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And you kind of see how they hop. They're almost like hip, hop, yeah. They're almost like, yeah. Come on, guys, hip. Come on. Come on, boys. Come on in here. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Boss. 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 Yep. Boss. Come on. Come on. Come on, Montana. Come on, guys. Come on. Hip. Come on, hip. Come on, get out of there. Get.
That one right there, yeah. Oh, geez.
Hey.
Yeah. Are you getting there on there at all? It's warming up. Warming up outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, this is fascinating.
What's that?
It's fascinating
Yeah.
because
And so yeah, it's kind of neat. They are very family oriented. You know, you wouldn't, you know,
but you know what most animals are.
yeah,
When
you
you
would,
start looking into them more,
Right.
more and more they find out every year. Birds and stuff, they're just crazy.
Yeah.
Ravens and crows and
yeah.
yeah.
You gonna get the hide pan?
I'm thinking I'm going to, yeah. Either off of this one or off of that big one. That big one's going down too,
How
so
you doing, old Hollywood?
we're getting there. We're getting there. Once we get this caped out a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
it'll go fast.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of hair on them, old boy.
Oh, it's winter.
It's kind of, well, you know what, it's kind of amazing because it can be cold. They can be laying on that snow and there'll be 3-4 inches of snow on the top of them. won't even melt. That's nothing. You know, there's no heat that escapes their body. You know.
Right. That's interesting. You leave all the innards in, and then you skin it, right? You skin the whole thing with the innards in?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's
Then we hang
that's
it up.
noteworthy.
Hang it up and I stand on the tails.
Let her go. Yeah. Boy, that's why you have such a tall boom here. It's good. Are the horns any bigger on a bull than a cow? Or?
They are, and actually, a bull's horns actually goes out and then they come up, where a cow, that's how you can tell the difference when you're looking at them. A cow will be narrower and in, and the closer those horns, the tighter those horns are, the older the animal is. And even on a bull, like these bulls, they just kind of come out and up a little bit. That means it's a young bull. As that bull gets older, into that 15, 20 years old, them horns will actually start curling in. And so you can look face on to a buffalo, you can look at them and kind of tell what their age is just by the way their horns are looking. Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's not 100%, but it's pretty accurate.
So when a young bull looks at one
get
and the
that?
horns all curled up, you know who the boss is. Right?
Yeah, but he's still got it in his blood that he's gonna try.
Yeah.
He may not get it, but he's gonna try.
Yeah. So.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Looks like he's gonna put the hoist on there, and then he's gonna start picking that up a little bit, and then he'll
Get the back.
get the back off of there.
And when do you cut the head off?
we can cut that off. Normally, we can cut that off anytime.
But do you take the hide off the head too? Or did no?
I will on this one, yes. Yeah, well, I've got two of them that we had mounted, and it was kind of neat because my brothers got them. But the first two that Dad had were bulls that were 5, 6 years old, and they were quite a bit bigger than this boy out here. And what we did is we had a shoulder mount done out of it. And it was really kind of neat because we had one, we left it normal, color like this. Then the other one, we had them bleach it white. So one head is white and one is just for the heck of it,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so, yeah. But now this one here, what I'll do is I'll skin that head out, and then I'll take all the meat off of it, and then it'll be just a skull. And then you can take and bleach them out, and then you can paint them if you want, or just hang them up or whatever, So that worked out pretty good. That's another reason that I like to shoot them in the neck, actually for two reasons. What you're doing is you're breaking that spinal cord, so basically you're paralyzing that animal. And so he's not going to go anyplace, so then when you cut his throat, that his heart is still pumping, so it'll bleed him out pretty good. And second of all, them skulls are worth anywhere from $50 to a couple $100, just the way that is. And so if a guy's buying that, of course, he doesn't want a bullet head in between his skull. So that's another reason that you want to shoot him in the neck. And so but those big, those 20, 25-year-old bulls, they got a massive skull on them, and they'll bring $250, $300 just in a raw state like that, So,
Yeah, interesting. I'm surprised that when I look at that animal, compared to other animals I've seen butchered, deer and so on, how little fat there is on it.
yeah,
Is
that's normal.
that's normal for a buffalo?
Right. Now, if that would be a cow, if that would be a female, there wouldn't be a lot, but there would probably be, maybe a ½ inch of fat cover on the outside. Yeah.
So that's why this particular animal is, nutrition-wise,
Right.
probably better for you with the cholesterol
Right.
and so
Right.
on, that it would be more of it in the beef.
Right. If you have heart problems and cholesterol problems and stuff, the doctors will actually recommend you eating this because it is a lean, meat, and it's good for you. So now this boy here, pretty much all of his life, has had grain. Nothing mixed in with it, just oats, corn, barley, whatever. And if that was a beef, he would be so fat he couldn't walk. And another thing is, which really amazes me, the difference between feeding a beef and a buffalo is you can put all the grain you want down in front of a buffalo and he will only eat what he needs. He won't, a beef will sit there and eat 24 hours a day. But a buffalo, you can fill up the trough and he'll eat whatever he wants, and then 12 hours or later he'll come back and eat a little bit more. But
between that wild animal and a domestic animal.
Yep, he won't overeat. He will not overeat. If he was in the wild and
he overate, he wouldn't survive.
Right. Yeah. The wolves would get him. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever eaten buffalo?
Yes.
Really good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's what one thing that we didn't mention. It is actually tastier than beef.
Yep.
It's tastier and it's got a good taste, good flavor.
Right.
And where you get the flavor, it seems like on the beef, is the fat. But you're getting a natural flavor right out of the meat here.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And the biggest thing that I've told people as far as cooking buffalo and venison is kind of the same way. You don't want to overcook it. People have a tendency to, and no matter what it is, they just cook it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've served people steaks and hamburgers and stuff, and they just, oh my gosh, is this ever good? You can't get this in the store. Well, no, But,
are there places in the stores around Tess County that do sell buffalo over the counter?
Well, we sell buffalo at Super One there, ground buffalo. You can buy, the steaks and stuff too. We don't carry them because, a retail cut steak like a T-bone or a ribeye, you'd probably be looking at $20, $25 a pound. And the ground buffalo, if you're buying it in town, is right around $8, $10 a pound, or maybe 12. So
it didn't seem like it used to be that much separation in prices 30, 40 years ago.
No.
But now it's really gone up.
Right. Well, that's what I say. When we first got into this business, 30 years ago, you could buy a little calf for $100. Now it's 2,000. And and people like it, so they're willing to pay a little bit more. Well, he's going to get the old gamble out, and we're going to hoist it up. And them old boys know what they're doing over there.
Difference of being a professional and me.
Yep. Well, you could probably do it. This is getting to be a really dying breed.
Because we actually cut up the animals. Now everything's boxed.
Yep.
Comes in barrels.
Yep.
I got in at the end of that.
Right.
Or the beginning of that when that's how a lot of the meat came in, but frozen in barrels. And I thought, boy, that's a whole utility thing that people aren't going to know in the future.
No. No, it's quite an art, actually.
Yeah, because you don't want to. You got to know which way to put that angle of that knife so you don't cut the hide, and putting all kinds of cuts in the meat. And,
right. Yeah, he's going to skin that. I don't know if he's going to. Are you taking that tail off of there, Don?
You want it for soup?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Can you take it off of there?
You want the hide left attached to the head?
No, we can cut that hide off of there. Cut the head right off of there anytime you.
You want the head?
Yep. Okay. You just gonna pull that off, Don, or?
Yeah, I will, but I gotta get his skin underneath it first.
Perfect temperature day for this, isn't it?
Beautiful. Really nice.
Through there, huh?
Mine's almost through there,
Not
yeah.
any warmer.
Yeah, it's supposed to get 40 or something today. All week, I think, it's supposed to be nice.
Yeah.
All week.
Yep. You got that there, no?
How come I can't get that through? There I am. Now I got it. Watch your fingers there.
They don't refer to this fat as tallow on a buffalo, do they? Or like they do in a cow?
Well, they would, yeah, but there's very little of it, you know. I
Tallow
mean,
would
there's...
be a word you could use on any
Right, yep. Yep. But you would think that, you know, with the, I mean, the hay that they're getting is good hay. And with that grain and stuff, you know, you would think that they'd be just fatter than a whistle, you know, but...
Yeah, no, no, that's, they taped that. That's a good thing, because we talked about that there.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Something we missed before there, so.
He's going to pull off the oxtail there now.
I hope.
You'll pull that bone right off.
Yep, he's going to get a rod and pull that out, or his hands, if he can. And the thing like these, you know, the leaner it is, the harder it is to skin them out. You know, where the fat, you know, yeah. They, I was at one of those, well, I was in that Iowa Beef Packers down in South Sioux City, Nebraska, and them beef come in, and they hook on a hydraulic.
Yeah, I've seen them do that with deer too.
Yeah, and then it just, boom, you know, and that just pulls it right off, just slicker. That's enough done. Yeah. There it is.
Nice. I did a raccoon a couple of years ago. They're terrible.
Really?
Ever skin a raccoon?
I haven't, not for
Nothing
years.
but grease.
Okay.
Just dripping grease. The fat's about like that.
Oh, really?
Horrible.
You know, them raccoons are tough little critters, boy. A couple years ago, I had put a camera out behind Ma's place, and I had a roadkill deer, and it was about this time of year, a little bit later actually, and I'd pulled that out in the woods, and I had a camera on it, you know, and I got a picture of a bobcat on one end of that deer, and a raccoon on the other end, and they're both crunched up and they're ready to fight, you know.
That's great.
And I would put my money on that raccoon, I think.
Normally it would be the bobcat, but the raccoons are tough.
They are, yeah.
Do you cut the bone there?
They're going to cut that,
Cut
yep.
the bone, yeah.
Yep. Yep, he's cut that brisket bone already.
Yeah. Here's this bone here. There's that suture down there. You could cut it with a penknife.
You can. Yep.
If people knew.
Yep. Yep.
Take these, people come out and deer hunting and take these big knives and a hatchet. I say, hold on a minute. And get that suture just right and
Yep.
like that.
Yep. Yeah, I've cut that H-bone with the knife, and you can do the same thing on that brisket. The only thing is you got to move right off to the side where the rib bones actually connect, and then there's cartilage in there. You can just pop that right off, but yep.
I used to cut a gut out probably 150 deer a year on my job. Every car kill we had to go to pick up.
Really?
I could do it at night with no light.
Huh.
You got so good at it.
Yep.
Feel
They don't pick them up anymore.
in years. Hear it pop.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he'd be a little fatter than that, but
Very good shape.
he's all right.
So you think that's going to weigh about 400 pounds or so?
That should hang about 5.5, 500, 5.5. It should.
You don't weigh them, do you?
I do after they, you know, yeah.
After they quarter?
Well, no, but I mean, when you bring it into the market and stuff, then they'll weigh it, yeah. But,
You want to know what you're bringing.
right.
Got something to put your heart and livers and stuff in?
Yep.
You can just pull that off, huh?
Well, they'll have to cut her down a little bit, but it'll come off pretty easy, so.
The weight.
So they'll pull the rest of that hide off there, then they'll cut the head off, and then they will, they've got the H-bone split and the brisket bone split, so then he'll go in there and split the belly meat, and then open that up, and then the guts will start coming out, and he'll put them in one of those barrels there.
Sure.
He'll pull the liver out of there and the heart out of there.
But then you're gonna cut this in half, right?
And then we're gonna cut it in half.
And that's where we want to be right there. I think. Well,
Yeah.
we can do the chops and stuff and explain where the.
Well,
before we
yeah,
do that.
what a guy could do is pull that hide off, and once he gets the hide and the stuff off of there, we could all actually leave it in a full half, and then just kind of walk through that a little bit.
I think
You
that
know.
would work.
Yeah, and he'll actually, well, yeah. Then what he'll do is when we get ready, he will back that up over mine. I'll put a tarp on there, and then he'll lower it down, and then he'll split the front quarters, put them in the truck, and then he'll lower it down, put the two hind quarters in there. So,
So
Well, I think, for sure, once
Sure.
they get it, finished up here, if you guys just point everything out, we don't need
That's
to
what we
catch, them putting it in your truck. and all
no,
that.
Exactly,
no.
right,
The
right.
last thing we want
Yeah.
to do is just show where the different types of cuts are. You know.
right,
Most people don't know where a clubhouse is or anything like that.
right. They don't even know what a clubhouse is because
No.
we don't even mark those anymore.
Don't you really? Porterhouse?
The porterhouse.
The clubhouse? You didn't?
Yeah, the club steak is actually,
Yeah, we used to have those on there, and they'd pick those babies up.
Yep.
No kidding.
Of course, that was back when you broke the quarters, and then now everything comes in little chunks, and
Sad. Sad that everything got too efficient.
it is kind of sad. And I'd still say that, if these grocery stores would actually get in sides of beef, I think they'd really go to town. Yeah.
Got quite the hump on it, don't they?
Yeah.
What's that hump called? Is there a name for it?
Just the hump.
Just the hump. I know, even beef have it,
Yeah, not as much as this one. I think that's where they, and I don't really know for a fact, but
Store fat and energy.
I think they kind of, store a little moisture and stuff in there. So, when they're out in the plains and stuff, they might go a long time without water, But I don't know if that's true or not, but it's just cartilage and fat, basically. Yeah.
When they say it's leaner meat, you can tell right from looking at it. That should be, if you had a beef, that would be something with white fat.
No flukes in that one, huh? No flukes in there, is there?
Just a minute.
Cutting it out right now, you don't even see it.
Don't even hear it.
Whoop.
I have a microphone over there.
Is this meat here?
That's that hump. That's all cartilage in there. That's pretty much the meat ends here, and then this is just fat, basically, and bone.
It's fat storage area.
Yeah.
There it is.
There, you want to grab that heart? Not ready yet, but
Here, wait a minute.
partially cut.
Oh, that there's the heart, huh?
That's the heart.
That's the heart.
Not bad eating.
No, excellent, actually.
Yeah. Certain way to cook it, though.
That, I made jerky out of that one time. Jeez, it turned out good.
Heart, you made jerky?
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing that with beef heart.
That's what I had is I had a couple of beef hearts and I trimmed the fat off and I sliced it real thin. And geez, it turned out good. Really
I'm
good.
gonna do that.
No, they're a good bunch of guys.
Oh, they are.
Yes, they are. How long have you been doing this, Godfrey? Don, how long have you been doing this?
Couple of days.
2 days? I think more like about 40 some years.
Well, I helped my dad when I was a kid. And it's been a couple of years since I've been a kid.
Yes, it probably has. I'll give you $10, you skin that whole head out. That's a chore, I'll tell you.
I'll bet, yeah.
And then to get all that meat off of there.
Ungangly, you know. Doesn't sit right.
Right.
Well, I got a few hanging around that the birds have cleaned them up pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the secret to that is doing it right away, like today. And then, even like a deer, you know, doing it as fast as you can. And so,
There's your head.
there. Boy, that's a big old boy. He's actually just a baby, but yeah.
Need some help with that?
No.
Yep.
Yeah. See now, like that beef is this buffalo is a little bit wider. Other than that, I mean, it's basically the same, but they're actually also a little shorter. You know, a beef like this would be probably a foot longer, maybe, or
compact. Yeah. So you don't get a lot of bone fragment with the saw. Too much.
Not too bad, a little bit, but yeah. Yeah, and then what I do like that is when I quarter it, I'll hang it up and then just spray a little water on it, especially on that backbone, and that'll wash that stuff off.
Ready?
That's a great shot there. Just a little- Well, that's the way to go there, huh?
Yep. That's just that reciprocating solid, all that is.
that's all
And
you
then
need.
it's got a coarse blade on it.
You see, it does have a coarse blade.
Yeah.
Like a sawzall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Still too much.
What pickup you putting it in, Dan?
What's that?
What pickup you putting it
The little one.
in? In the plastic?
Yeah. I got a big tarp. So.
Oh,
Are you going down the center of the bone or on one side?
Huh?
Are you going
Center.
down the center of the bone or on one side?
Well, I'm going right down the center of the backbone. Right here
You are.
is the cage.
So it'd be equal on both sides then?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
close. See, here's a spinal cord right here.
Yes.
I'm trying to split
All
right
right.
down that canal.
Interesting.
when you get done with the beef,
See what?
and then have their probably a pound, maybe 2 pounds of oil.
Yeah.
Right there is the spinal cord. And there's some on each side.
Mm-hmm.
Very little blood.
Only bled it out, see? So it's not, all the blood that are in the main vessels is out. You know, the thing was still alive. You see the heart?
Yeah.
Now let's go up this way, Tom. Give me this. There you go. Good enough. Good enough.
Okay, we're gonna be talking about the parts of the animal and what winds up in the growth facility and how we can compare this to a decent animal. Another use for my sawzall.
There you go.
Use it here.
You start butchering buffalo.
Yeah.
Well, them things are handy to have.
Come home and have one tied up to the back steps. Long rope. I'll talk it away first on that. I think.
Probably.
Yeah. What do you got there, Tom?
Oh, mercy.
The way it comes out clean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely clean. I've seen people with deer just.
Yeah, that's why I kind of quit cutting deer up because it's, you know, it's just so. I mean, the guys that do a good job, you know, is actually kind of nice to cut their deer up for them.
Yeah. Okay, Dan.
Yes.
We've come this far.
We have.
We have skinned it, disemboweled it, cut it in half, and it's pretty much ready to be quartered up. That's what quarters are. You cut it in fours.
Right.
And I thought the viewers would like to kind of compare this to a beef.
Okay.
And since you're the expert on this, you could tell us what type of cuts you're going to get off of this.
All right.
The cuts they see in the store laying in the under the glass there.
Right.
They know the names, maybe not where the part of the animal it came from.
Right.
And some are more tender than others, some are better than others.
That's right. Right.
Tasty and so on. So maybe
Right.
you could help us out on that.
All right. Well, this is going to be your hind quarter up here, and this is going to be your front quarter down here. They split it between the 13th and 14th rib, leaving one rib on the hind quarter.
Right here.
Right there. Yep. And this up here, from here on up, is going to be your round
Steak.
round steak. Now, your sirloin tip that you buy in town is this muscle right here. You go right below the knuckle on that hind leg,
Okay.
and you can kind of see it's almost got a shape for it right there where it's a little bit different color. So what you do is you V that out, and this is your sirloin tip.
Tip roast.
Sirloin
That
tip
can be
roast.
cut into steaks, but normally they leave it as a roast.
Right, roast
Right there.
or steaks.
So
and
you're
that's
looking at about a 10-pound piece of meat there.
That's going to be at least 10 pounds, 12,
Okay,
15,
so
depending. Yep.
okay.
So now you're going to have a cut around here, and this right here is going to be your full round steak when you're slicing it this way here.
And
Okay.
not the tastiest and a little bit tougher.
It's a little tougher. You want to Swiss it or something like that.
Because it's the working muscle of the animal. right?
Exactly. Right. Yep. Now, as you go down that hind quarter, this is your top sirloin. Your top sirloin actually comes off of the loin. This is your back strap or your loin. So when you split this animal, when you take the round off, it goes from here, and this is your top sirloin. So your sirloin isn't quite as good as your T-bones, but it's awful. It's still really good.
So when people buy sirloin, it's a little cheaper than some of this.
Yeah,
As you go south on this animal,
Right.
it's going to get better, more tastier meat, right?
Exactly.
So you got the sirloin is really the start of your steaks.
It started your
you wanna throw
good
on the
steaks.
grill, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
So you'll have this here will be your sirloin, and then your porterhouse will come off of here. So when you cut your sirloins off, then it'll turn into your porterhouse steaks.
Not many though.
Not a lot. You'll probably get about 6 nice porterhouse,
Okay.
and then from here down to the end is your T-bones.
T-bones.
Now, if you would take and bone this out, this would be your New York strip, from where the sirloin ends down to where your ribeye begins. If you bone that out, that's your sirloin, your New York strip.
Okay, New York strip is part of the T-bone?
Your New York strip is part of the T-bone. Your T-bone is made up of 2 muscles, your New York strip, and then on the back side is your tenderloin. And I don't know if we can swing this
So
around, but this is where your tenderloin is. This is your fillet, is right on the inside.
Right. So the name comes from the way it's cut then, the porterhouse and the strip.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So that's what you get off of that. Your flank steak, if you ever buy a flank steak in town, that's going to be hidden right in here. It's going to be on the back side of this. That's where your flank steak is.
Covers the cavity, the stomach area.
Yep,
Okay.
right. Yep.
right.
So, and then of course your shank is up on top for your soup meat. Your rump roast would be right in here when you would cut off that round. This would be your rump roast right on the top here.
Okay.
So you got your shank meat, you got your round steak, your sirloin tip, cut into steak or roast, your top sirloin, your porterhouse, and then your T-bone. And
So
if
you
you
got
bone
a
that
few
out,
more T-bones than you do porterhouse in an animal like this?
normally, yeah,
Little
yep,
more, okay.
yep. And the difference between a porterhouse and a T-bone is the size of that tenderloin, that fillet on the back side. So when that gets down to about 2.5 inches, then it starts turning into a T-bone.
Oh,
That's
so
the
a
only-
porterhouse is actually, there's more tenderloin on a porterhouse than there is on a T-bone.
Right, and normally the porterhouse is normally going to be a little more expensive because you're paying for that fillet that's on the bottom.
Correct.
Yep.
That's the tenderest part of the animal. Right?
It is, exactly.
On the inside.
On the inside. And that tenderloin really don't have any purpose other than to protect the insides of that animal so when it gets rammed. Yep. So that's basically what's on the hind quarter.
Okay. Now.
And now the front quarter is your back strap still goes down, and this goes from your T-bone and it turns into your ribeye. So this is your ribeye from right there up to right here. Okay. So what we would do is we would come down 2 inches from where this eye starts, and you would cut that straight down here and then straight over, and that would be your ribeye. If you left it into a roast, it would be your prime rib roast. That's where your prime rib roast is, right here. Yep.
Really?
Is
So
that?
That's some good part of the animal. Right?
That is. The nice thing, it's the same backstrap muscle. It just starts getting more and more fat in here, and in a beef, that's what you want.
Taste.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Now this side here, when you go down here and over, this is your plate, what they call your plate, and that's where you get all your short ribs. Your ribs are coming across this way here, so you would cut that down, and this is where you get your short ribs. Okay. Now, on the bottom here, you got another shank for your soup bone. This right in here is your brisket. So if you're buying a corned beef brisket for St. Patrick's Day, this is what you're buying, is this muscle right in here. And of course, they put a cure in it and season it. But that's where your brisket comes off of, is from right here on up. So.
Yep. That's good too. That's great.
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Then what you would do is when you're splitting this, you count up 5 ribs and you split this between the 5th and 6th rib. And anything above that is going to be your ribeye. Anything below that is going to be your chuck.
Chuck
Okay.
roast. This is we're starting to get in the hamburger area here.
Well, now what you would do is you would cut this off completely across like this here.
Right.
And then you would take and you would cut your shank off. Okay, now this part in here is going to be your arm roast. When you buy an arm roast in town, you cut about 3 arm roasts off of there, then you would cut about 2 bread and butters. And so that would come up to right about here. And then this is going to be your boneless, or your chuck roast would be from here down, and then your neck meat. So this here is chuck roast, basically all in here. And
Big
your
part of the
prime,
animal. Man.
yep, and then your prime rib. And of course, when you're cutting that, you're trimming it up, and all the trimmings off of that is what's going in the hamburger.
Now the ribeye steaks are again are where?
The ribeye is going to be right in here.
Right in there. Okay.
Right in here. Yep, it's going to be from about right in there on up to here and about this far over.
A little different taste on the ribeye than there is on the T-bones and so on.
There is.
Is it because of the fat?
Well, there's a couple of different reasons. One is, yes, because of the fat. There's going to be more fat in there. But as this muscle goes into that front quarter and down into the chuck, it starts picking up different muscles. So instead of having just your main backstrap muscles, when you get down into the towards the chuck, you'll have 2 or 3 different muscles that connect onto it. So you're going to have actually flavors. Each muscle is going to be a little different flavor.
Yeah.
So that's where you get that little different flavor from.
And you got neck meat and so on that you use hamburger and so on.
Right. Yep.
Interesting. Well, boy, I tell you, we went through it.
We
And
pretty
that's-
much covered it. Yeah, it's pretty basic. It's pretty simple, but
Basic butchering 101 here on what we have as far as a variety of steaks. So when you go to the grocery store, there you go, right here.
you can kind of see where it's
Explained
coming
out.
from.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And why you pay more for some and not others.
Right.
part of it,
Yep.
so.
Yep. Some of
That's
this,
good taste.
is a lot more tender.
Yep.
Got a lot more flavor to it, and some of it, you get in your round steak is real lean,
Right.
but you almost have to do something with it because it's tough.
Yeah. Well, it's
So-
because it's a muscle working the animal there.
Right.
So.
Yep.
But as far as the protein value, it's the same pretty much all the way through.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
just, as far as the texture and the taste is the difference.
Right. Yep. That's the biggest thing. Yep.
Okay.
So.
Very good.
Good.
Well, I think we've pretty well covered everything here. We've got here it is. Here's the final.
There it
Other
is.
than actually cutting it up into chops and steaks. And stuff.
Right. Yep.
We're going to leave her right here, and I guess I'm
Very
going
good.
to say thank you very much, Dan.
Well,
It's
thank
been
you,
wonderful.
Tom. It's been my privilege.
Yeah, been great.
I admire all your service that you do for the community, and
works
I
out
take
well.
my hat off to you, but I'm not wearing a hat.
And these guys here, I'll tell you, what a bunch of pros there.
They are.
These are really pros, and this is part of this whole program here.
It is, and they make my job a whole lot easier.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Very good, and thank you folks for watching Just Outdoors, and remember, stay informed.